News.
Bank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited.
On 947, this is EWN.
Good evening, I'm Noluthando Ngeno. Eskom is sticking to its plan to lift load shedding after today's evening peak period bout of power cuts. This means load shedding will be suspended at 10 this evening. Earlier in the week, the utility announced the return of rolling blackouts due to delays in the restoration of units from planned maintenance. Eskom spokesperson Daphne Mukwena.
Since early this week, Eskom restored 1,175 megawatts, with an additional 1,850 megawatts expected to return to service before tomorrow's evening peak. These improvements contribute to overall system stability, supported by sufficient emergency reserves, which will be strategically deployed when necessary.
The Tshwane municipality has established a mayoral subcommittee to look into formalizing 17 illegal townships within the capital's borders. The municipality says some of these settlements were established without following the municipality's zoning regulations. This includes the white Afrikaner-only settlement of Kleinfontein, which has seen renewed calls to be abolished. Thabiso Goba has more.
The mayoral subcommittee will bring together the MMCs for human settlements, spatial planning, utilities and community safety. They've been tasked with engaging the affected communities and drawing up a draft policy document that will be considered by the Tshwane Council. Tshwane Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise says each settlement will be considered on a case-by-case basis.
But they differ, by the way, Thabiso. They are not the same. You will see Leeuwfontein is more privileged people who have built expensive houses, but they are willing to come to the party so that we can formalize them.
The illegal white Afrikaner-only settlement of Kleinfontein has welcomed the establishment of the subcommittee, saying it will bring much-needed clarity on its legal status. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
And lastly, in the US, Walmart says it will raise prices on some items as President Donald Trump's global trade war with China impacts levies too high for the retailer to absorb. Earlier this week, Washington and Beijing reached an agreement to lower tariffs, but the United States still charges a 20% levy on most goods coming from China. The company says the trade uncertainty makes it difficult to plan for the future, but it says it will do its best to keep the prices as low as possible. A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows of 7 and peak at highs of 21 degrees. Noluthando Ngeno, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High-dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Mamelodi Sundowns are the champions. Final whistle has gone here at East London. Another convincing win. And Miguel Cardoso can celebrate a first league title in South African football. It was never really in doubt, but it is now confirmed. Sundowns the champions for the 24-25 season and for the 8th campaign in a row. It really has been total dominance.
We've got the one and only Mambush Mudau, the supporters coordinator of Sundowns. He joins us from East London.
It's not about Mambush, it's about Mamelodi Sundowns players, technical team, what they've fight for the whole season until now. Let's give flowers to them, Rob, because of, our players, our technical team, they're out of the country, they come back home, they grant the results, they win, for the supporters, even their family. These people have already, not at home for a long time, but when they come to the field of play, they make sure that the supporters are getting happy.
Sundowns need to draw to win the title. Can you?
When we play in the field of play, we said let's have 3 points that is dedicated to the supporters. But all in all, if we draw today, we are the champion of Betway, Premiership, and then we'll be the first to taste it, as we usually do that. And then I'm 100% sure.
Final whistle has gone here at East London. Another convincing win, and Miguel Cardoso can celebrate a first league title battle in South African football.
Robert, allow me to say farewell to my coach, the Spanish Kita. Made us as Orlando Pirates fans proud. We wish you all the best in your new team.
I'm one of those who had doubted Coach Jose when he arrived. Rob, I'm glad that I apologized to him when he came to studio.
It's Egypt, the final destination. Is there anything else we can talk about?
To give my best one more time, and at the same time knowing that there's going to be many Pirates fans monitoring what I do, and I also feel that part of responsibility that I'm representing them in a way, and for many of them.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Well, it is indeed with very heavy hearts that we start the show tonight with the former South African international Cornel Hendricks having died at the age of 37 after suffering a heart attack. Now, Hendricks, who scored 5 tries in 12 appearances for the Springboks, passed away yesterday. Now, Hendricks was forced to retire, if you remember, from professional rugby about 10 years ago after being diagnosed with a heart condition. However, after receiving a second medical opinion, he did, though, return to action with Pretoria-based Super Rugby side, the Bulls, in 2019. He also represented South Africa in Rugby Sevens between 2011 as well as 2014, earning selection to the Blitzbokke for the 2013 Rugby World Cup Sevens, and also winning a gold medal at the 2014 Commonwealth Games. Now, in total, he played 233 first-class matches in a career spanning 17 years. To the family, friends, colleagues, former teammates, we certainly reach out to you. And we also say to the family as well, may his soul rest in peace. Hamba kahle.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
Thank you so much for all that you gave to rugby. Cornel Hendricks. Oh, very sad moment indeed. Also very pleased, though, to see just the love that he has been having and receiving on social media platforms, with so many teammates, former colleagues as well, reaching out and also just sending condolence messages to the family, as well as a lot of his fans as well. That's the kind of support that we always hope and wish for. Right, before we introduce our in-studio guest for tonight, let's take you back, though, because it'll be wrong of me to start the show with this background music when we have this.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Oh, sheer football brilliance, I can tell you, man. A feat that cements dominance, a legacy that refuses to be shaken in South Africa. 8, yeah, that is right, 8 consecutive league titles. Mamelodi Sundowns, the undisputed kings of South African football. Well, they've once again conquered the land, and who better to break it all down than a man who has been at the heart of it, guiding the charge, instilling the philosophy, and also standing tall in pursuit of the greatness that they now have again. So, hey, guys, brace yourselves, because joining us right now is none other than the tactical mastermind himself, the Sundowns assistant coach, a man that we haven't spoken to in a while. Why? Because he's been focusing on the big job, the job at hand. Coach Steve Khompela is on the line. Good evening, Coach. You are the champion. Welcome. We lay out the red carpet for you. Good evening.
Good evening very much, Robbie. And I think before one could go anywhere, I should also echo the same sentiment with you on the passing of the great Cornel Hendricks, and saying to the family, to friends, the fans, loved ones, may his soul rest in peace, and that they gather strength and accept the inevitable, because all of us, one or the other, it is a route that all of us will follow. Said that he had to meet his demise so early, but I'm sure the impact he made in people's lives, even at his young age, like Tupac, would remain unforgettable. May his soul rest in peace.
Words well spoken, Steve Khombela, as always, true to the occasion indeed, where we always try and mix the sad as well as the good. And like you say, his memory will forever live long in our minds.
There's a statement, Robert, that says you have to enjoy both your relevance and irrelevance. It is in your entirety. So whether things are good or bad, you just have to accept as they are because that is you. Without goods, there could never be any bads. And without bads, we would never appreciate the goods we go through. So we have to accept both.
Truly appreciate those words, man, Steve Khombela. And as we change gear, and we change gear to something that you've lived long and hard, maybe you took people by surprise when you went back to your favorite team, Mamelodi Sundowns. And now we cannot even count anymore because we are getting closer and closer to the double figures. But when you do it, 8 league titles in a row, what does that say to you, Steve Khombela, to Sundowns, to everybody else that follows this great team?
It's team sport, Robert, and it is institutions with rich culture and great desire to always want to succeed. I think the acknowledgement with Mamelodi Sundowns, which also goes with other institutions, because we need to be very careful that in our statements we don't come across as arrogant to those who could not reach the levels that we were privileged to reach. So my statements must be quite modest in as much as we're trying to find clarity. It is institutional desire and culture and success. And the Sundowns has shown that in many ways, whether it was women's soccer, whether it was in the team that competes in the Betway, whether it is your DDC team, everything that Mamelodi Sundowns, the supporters, the president, the board, and everybody who's attached to Mamelodi Sundowns, there's this institutional desire to succeed. And the minute it becomes part of the institution, then it reinforces the values that everybody else must subscribe to. And it should not be further from or far from what the chairman stands for, the president stands for, the Motsepe family stand for, the board, the supporters stand for. So it is out of that humility that we say it is not only an individual achievement, it is a collective achievement with the help of the players, support from the supporters and administration, because there's 3 legs in football. You have technical, which is both players and coaches, and then you have the administration, which has to deal with a whole lot of other things to see to it that the team succeeds. It be from talent identification, acquiring players, bringing everybody on board, or logistics, everything else that has to do with administration. And then the 3rd leg becomes supporters. So all those 3 must be in sync, more like your car, the driver, and the road. If the road is not smooth, the driver and the car are likely to suffer. And if the driver is not sober, the road and the car will suffer. If the car is not impeccable, the road and the driver are going to suffer. So the trinity has to be intact, which is, I think, at Sundowns is happening. And we are greatly privileged that we had to go through the competition we met this season. But we had seen this. It had been coming. Orlando Pirates had been coming slowly. Even in the previous season, it was just an unfortunate case of some matches they drew which they were supposed to have won. And when you go to the XGs and all these other data-related informations you receive, it had always shown a trajectory from Orlando Pirates. And one has to congratulate them as well, because you can never be considered a champion if you did not meet great challenges. And indeed, we are highly privileged to be where we are at. We are thankful to the supporters and also the PSL and the teams that are in the PSL who gave us a hell of a run. It wasn't easy. Previous years, I remember when I joined Mamelodi Sundowns, we would wrap it up with 5 matches to go. We had to squeeze our bums, knuckle down up until there were 2 matches to go without taking things for granted, be very serious because anything could happen. And we are happy, thankful and delighted that we are where we are at tonight.
Did you find it a bit strange, though? Because there's a certain time, Steve, where a decision had to be taken that when it comes to a certain match day, say match day 26, then all the teams had to be aligned and you play the last 4 matches all together, all at the same time. But you find, Sundowns ahead as you guys have been for most of the season, everybody else playing catch up. Is that easy, difficult, or really indifferent in terms of how you guys have managed to look at the league table and then plan?
I think looking at it, in a perfect world, an ideal world would give a different response to the real one that we had to face. An ideal and a perfect world would say that would have been the best scenario. But looking at circumstances and how things were unfolding, based on the challenges that the PSL, the league faced, there was a lot of things that we had to go through. You're quite aware of all that happened in the league. And also part as compliment, when I always say burdens and blessings are cousins, people say uqalile, but the blessing of Stellenbosch, the blessing of Orlando Pirates, the blessing of Mamelodi Sundowns campaigning in the cup competitions became a burden to the league with regards to scheduling, fixturing teams and all the traveling and all those. Those are all dynamics that you have to factor in when you say, did we go through a rough patch undeservedly? At some point you feel like that because you are the one going through these stones that are sharp and they are actually slicing your skin, you're feeling the pain, you're going here, you're coming. As soon as you arrive the next day, you have to prepare for a match and all that. Mamelodi Sundowns went through that. But I think with the experience Mamelodi Sundowns has for having campaigned in Africa for so many years, knowing how to travel, making arrangements, going early, knowing when to come back. At some point also the president and the chairman and the board giving us the opportunity to have a charter so that we can be in that particular country, back to South Africa to honor fixtures. It's quite taxing. But again, for Mamelodi Sundowns, it did not only tax from a financial point of view, which anyway it is not my right to comment on, but also in terms of fatigue, especially because mentally, sometimes it goes to a point where players feel like, goodness me, I'm hardly home. I only go home to change underwear and change uniform. I only go home to just wash the clothes. I'm back in camp again. It's not a beautiful environment, but we had to face it. And the experience we've gathered over years, I think, assisted us a bit. And I'm happy that the argument has to be closed early enough before it became ugly, where we then have to put an argument of, no, Robert is right by saying matches have to be tallied and aligned so that there are no any other discrepancies that are going to be pointing at arguments that will be valid or invalid. So I think it is okay, but these should also be learning experiences for everybody who's involved in the game to say, how best can we deal with this that it does not give us the potential tragedy we would have gone through had it not been that this thing was wrapped up early enough.
Yeah, you play MTN8. You know what the trophy looks like there, right?
Exactly.
You play Nedbank Cup. You know what the trophy looks like there, right?
Exactly, sir.
You play Betway Premiership. Do you know what the trophy looks like?
Exactly, my lord.
Do you know what it looks like?
You used played, and I would assume it was in the past. But if you're speaking now in relation to what is likely to be on Sunday, I would be lying to say I know. It could be a nice surprise, and we're looking forward to that. And sometimes, when you keep things waiting, it builds excitement, the anxiety, the want to see, and it also triggers bigger competition from those who had not seen it before. They say, it has to be my first. We played MTN8, I know how it looks like. Nedbank, I know how it looks like. Even the Carly Black Label Cup, know how it looks. The Betway, similar to the previous competition that it was in the PSL, we know it. We know the color was blue. But the next one in the Betway, I would assume the color would be black. But how it looks like, I can't wait to see. Forget seeing. I can't wait to touch. Forget touching. I can't wait to smell. Forget smelling. I can't wait to share the energy with the Mamelodi Sundowns supporters and everybody else. And South Africa would be excited to say, let's see how this thing looks like. We are anticipating.
You're assuming that there is a trophy. What if it's a virtual?
Robert, beggars are no choosers. But at some point, the deserving ones ultimately will be rewarded. And a reward, in whatever form it comes, is a sense of appreciation of hard work that was put, and the hard work that had been put by Mamelodi Sundowns, reaching 70 points now with 2 matches to go. With 1 match to go. It would definitely, and knowing the PSL, they have a sense of pride. They have a sense of showing that they are one of the best leagues in the world, and one does not expect any disappointments. But anyway, there's always the best phrase, Robbie. Have no expectation, you'll have no disappointments, but expectations are high this time.
All right, so please entertain my expectation of seeing you in the studio when you guys are done and dusted with the Champions League, because that's a trophy I know what it looks like. That's a trophy I know you know what it looks like. That's a trophy I know you have a desire to bring to our studio, Steve Komphela. So we allow you to be on the phone today, away from the public view, simply because we respect the fact that you got a bigger job to do on the continent. So please, the space is ready for the Champions League trophy. To come with Steve Komphela, the technical team, some of the players as well. That is all that I'm asking you to grant us, sir.
Mr. Marawa, I hear exactly what you're saying, but those chairs are meant for you, and the invitation will come through you, and you know exactly the channels we follow. The only thing that I would say is that as part of the club celebrations on Sunday, when Mamelodi Sundowns lifts this trophy, there's going to be a lucky supporter who stands to win a car on Sunday. So supporters can go to the Mamelodi Sundowns social media platforms for details. The guarantee that we have is that that car has to be won. That the invitation will be declined, it would not be declined, but reasons would be forwarded. But if accepted, please leave the chair open for people who are so deserving to be roasted and be invited by you. And thank you so much for having us.
Roasted? So we don't run a restaurant here.
Robbie, never trust a man who says, trust me. I trust you a lot, but that is I must trust you. I have my reservations.
Why do you have reservations? There's a lot of trust that has been earned through the years here, Komphela.
Rob, we've dealt with you for many years, and we know very well. You start on a hell of a nice footing. At the end of it, you'll either put one. If I'm sleeping, I'll go to bed with it. But if I'm awake, I'll be alert enough to deflect it. This one, I must deflect, but acknowledge that you said it.
We've got a car to give away, Steve Komphela, to a lucky fan on Sunday.
Aweza Masandawana.
Drive imoto, bab.
Yabasu urile ntate Motsepe ba tshwarana ka matso. Ba jike ba tshwarana ka matso ke ntate Motsepe. Let's go for it, Masandawana, and congratulations to all the teams in the PSL. So hlangana coming season. So qala ngaloko number 8 simbona ukuthi uthini. Bese siyaqhubeka, and then Orlando Pirates, a hell of a good fight. Great job, guys. And Rivero, wish you well wherever you're going. And Amapagania, listen, you did a great job. Even the players, and whatever happens coming season, Jesus Christ, come bring it on. It only makes the game exciting in South Africa.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Steve Komphela if Jesus Christ's name was not included. Sir, I thank you. All the best and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Robin. God bless you too, my brother.
Thank you very much indeed. Steve Komphela, the assistant coach there of the champions, Mamelodi Sundowns. And don't forget, as he says, as part of the club celebrations, when Sundowns lifts their trophy, a lucky supporter stands a chance to win a car on Sunday.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. #MSW.
The all-new Suzuki Swift is more than just a great drive. It's a feeling of freedom, of style, of confidence, a feeling that gets your heart racing, that gives you swagger, and lets the world know that you are the beat, the pulse, the sound of the street, and that you have arrived.
Feel iconic in the all-new Suzuki Swift. New tech, more safety features from just 219,900. Visit suzukiauto.co.za to book your test drive. T's and C's apply.
It's Pick n Pay Hypermarket's Price Slash. Get a pork pack for only R56.99 per kilogram. 500 gram Flora 40% light or 50% regular fat spread tub, any 3 for only 99 Rand. And assorted 200 gram Dow Egberts instant coffee or 230 gram Doi pack for only 149 Rand 99 each. Only at Pick n Pay Hypermarkets. Valid 16 to 18 May while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
You were born to make an impact. Join us for the Gordon Institute of Business Science Open Day on 23 May. Explore GIB's full range of programs, qualifications, and corporate learning solutions. Attend thought leadership sessions, meet the admissions team, and network with alumni and future change makers. Celebrate 25 years of impact and discover the difference your leadership could make. Visit gibbs.co.za to register. Gibbs is a Triple Crown internationally accredited business school in Ilovo, Santon.
This May, save big on Xiaomi. Are you ready for a tech upgrade? Xiaomi is giving back to the fans with exciting May deals across your favorite smartphones. From powerful cameras to long-lasting batteries and stylish designs, there's something for everyone. Available at leading retailers nationwide. Xiaomi, innovation for everyone. T's and C's apply.
Hey, it's been forever.
I know, right? How are you?
Never mind that. What is this?
What?
So 1 week in Dubai and now you walk around smelling expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find yourself a sugar shake?
Well, girl, this is all me, Dubai living on a cupcake budget.
Plug.
Right? It's the new Comfort, the gold one.
Ooh.
New Comfort fabric conditioner in jasmine and cashmere. A luxurious fragrance for long-lasting impressions.
You're not ordinary, right? So why not bet with the extraordinary? Bet on Lotto Star. Lotto Star offers world-renowned lotteries, quick games, real-world slot games, scratch card games, and live games. You could win payouts of up to 75 million Rand instantly. Bet now on lottostar.co.za. Your world of live games awaits. Lotto Stars licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
As mina ngiyadrive njalo ngisendleleni Robert man ayi bengifuna ukusho nje ukuthi mfethu iaudio yaka Passion Mahlangu mfethu yar lapha khala khona engimise yona mfethu azukushayela imoto ngidrakazi ngise hey ngibuye emsebenzini mfethu ngiyadrive yasinhliziyo yami hawu Robert inhliziyo yami ebuhlungu bengifuna uze le audio yaka Passion ashisa amateki that time akuyo akhala inyembezi studio Robert awukhalile man
Albert Bash Mahlangu.
It's said that the coach will be leaving the team.
Wow. All right. Give him a moment. I think he's just about to describe why it's said that the coach is leaving the team.
#MSW. #MSW.
Greetings, Rob. This is Tommy Adi from Edenville. Greetings also to Coach Steve. Hi, Rob. Me again, no Steve Kompela. Me again. Hi. This guy with his English, man. Hey, if the road is not good, it's the driver in the car that suffers. But congratulations to them, Rob. Bye. We're happy for them as Orlando Pirates supporters. We tried to give them a good run for their money. But, hey, Sundowns is Sundowns. Congratulations to them, Rob. Let's see what happens next season.
All right, let's embark on something completely different right now. And of course, we're going to take more of your WhatsApp voice notes, even questions and answers to the next topic that we are getting into now. And that is why tonight we're going to be unraveling a story that is more than just what people call controversy. It's a battle for the truth. It's actually a fight for justice. Now, she was once the voice behind the scenes. I mean, the guardian of SAFA's messaging. But when whispers also turned into accusations and also accusations turned into judgment, she kind of found herself cast out, kind of discarded, suspended, fired, but not defeated. Her name is Namhla Mphelo. She denies any wrongdoing. In fact, she stands pretty firm. She fights back. And with unwavering resolve, though, she has lodged a dispute with the CCMA. challenging what she calls an unfair dismissal. And also she refuses to be silenced. The big question is this the price of standing your ground, or is this just the beginning of a greater reckoning? Now, tonight we're going to be hearing from the woman at the center of the storm. Namhla, welcome to the show. Good to see you. And pretty strange now when I have to call you the former SAFA media officer.
Good evening, Rob. Oh, Mr. Marawa.
Rob's cool. Don't worry.
You're still Mr. Marawa to me. I'm here to snitch on the mother body. After 11 years, it's not a good thing. It doesn't feel right, but I'm here for me and many other women within the South African Football Association.
How do you find yourself in this situation? Because let's dive straight in. What you'll find, and I'm glad that the observer who's here, I don't know if he'll speak, Thulaganyo Gaoshubela is here, as he knows that time goes very quickly on this show. How do you find yourself in a situation where, as far as I know, you were accused of accessing the system where everything is kept on the computer without authorization, sharing information with an NEC member? And at the heart of this is 10 million rand, which was then paid to the SAFA President Danny Jordaan.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of background in terms of that. Is that true?
The truth is I accessed the system. It was within my rights. I was a team manager at the time, under 17 girls who went to Gabon for the World Cup qualifiers. So I did access the system. That part is very true. The unauthorized part is not true. The sharing with an NEC member is not true. I had the rights in my means as a media officer to be looking into the things that I did look into.
So when did it become unauthorized, and when did it become an issue? Was that because that particular bit of information that you saw then ended up on a WhatsApp group chat?
Yeah.
And then the assumption was that you, the person who had the access, who then took it and passed it on. Am I reading it correctly?
Yeah, I think it was sensitive information that didn't sit comfortably with the president, that was shared on a WhatsApp group, but it did not come from me. You know, I want to emphasize that part. It did not come from me. Even the NEC member that said that he sent the stuff admitted to the CEO before I went for a DC. And that information was disregarded going into my DC.
Was it a fair DC?
No, it was not at all, because I had asked for documents, I had asked for policies, I had asked for communication strategies and policies, you know, to say that what I did was wrong, and there was nothing given to me. And the CEO admitted that they don't have these policies. And it's not the first time that I've been victimized by SAFA. This has been going on since the regime of Dennis Mambo. So it was just another year of victimization.
That's a strong word. Victimized how?
Victimized in the sense that I've spent a few years working. I've been at the Football Association for 11 years.
Yeah.
There've been years where I've been isolated, you know, as a media liaising officer, where you don't get to do your job. Outsiders get called in to come and do what you're supposed to be doing, and then you must assist them. We had two particular ladies that came in, you know, for Banyana and Bafana, who handled their stuff for a good 2.5 years, maybe going into the World Cup of Banyana and going into the AFCON. And they've now since left. I've still been at SAFA. I've gotten my roles back. But every now and again, you're put on a list. You're supposed to be going somewhere. The list must get checked by the president. If he okays it, then it's okay to go. If he has questions, then it's wrong.
But how, though? I don't remember seeing you at AFCON.
I didn't go to AFCON.
You were not at Cote d'Ivoire?
I was not in Cote d'Ivoire.
But you're the media liaison officer.
Of the Football Association, correct.
So then if a media liaison officer is not able to go, for example, on what grounds, on what basis are you then not?
We never know. We never know at SAFA. Hence the victimization. Hence women at SAFA are not valued. You know, that's one thing I must be honest about. Women at SAFA are not valued. A lot of us feel like we're not wanted there. And at times, me being right here more than anything is not only speaking for myself. I'm speaking for the technical director, Walter Steenborg, who had to leave, you know. His people have had to leave SAFA. New people are being brought in every other day that you just don't understand how roles are being changed any day out of nowhere, you know. So I'm speaking for a lot of people, and maybe I'm the voice piece for SAFA, but people are genuinely not happy.
A lot of people say you're very brave because we know shenanigans that happen in football.
I don't have a choice. I'm a single parent raising a son all on my own to make sure that he grows up well, you know, so I don't have a choice. My dismissal from SAFA was very unfair. Hence, I'm going to the CCMA, and we don't know what's going to happen at that matter, but my dismissal was unfair.
Do you think it was going to happen anyway, regardless of whether you access the system or not?
At some point it was going to, because I've been victimized for many years. So they were just waiting for an opportunity, which came up now with me having seen this particular thing on the president. And I've been all of a sudden the scapegoat of the person who apparently sent it to the NEC members.
When you saw that 10 million rand and it had the president's name next to it, what went through your mind? I mean, were you shocked? I mean, give me a human side of a Namhla accessing this, and here's a payment allegedly that is sitting there staring at you in the face, and it's obviously something that I believe now from the NEC perspective was never declared.
Yeah. Listen, it had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
You know, when I looked into it, it was because I was looking to see if my head of delegation had gotten paid. You know, and because they were the only two people who left the country in January. So my head of delegation hadn't got paid. So I looked at Danny, Dr. Jordaan, because he was the only other person who left that month. And I saw this particular amount. I don't know where this particular amount comes from, what it is, or anything of the sort, and it's got nothing to do with me.
But how did you feel when you saw it? Because it's an association payment. I mean, 10 million rand from the Football Association. These payments that I got to put on record as well, from what I understand, are payments that were made in June of 2020, which would have been during the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown. And they were made without knowledge or approval of the National Executive Committee.
Yeah.
So that is as far as I know in terms of the time frame and when they would have happened. How then do you get to know, for example, you were saying that you were looking for other reasons whether your head of delegation had been paid or not. What does it say on the system if the person has been paid?
It shows the amount that the person has been paid.
So that is full proof that the amount has gone in.
Yeah.
Which means then, in the same way with the president, the 10 million rand wouldn't just be sitting there.
Yeah.
It's full proof that that has been paid.
Yes.
And that's how the system works.
Yes.
So when you're sitting in this tribunal, disciplinary, as people would call it, are you being represented by anybody, or is it a case of, I mean, set the scene for us. Who is part of this DC?
Well, when I went into the DC, before anything, I made a request that the DC does not go ahead because I didn't receive the documents that I had asked for. I was bullied into having the DC go ahead, number one, by Tebogo Motlanthe, who is our COO at the moment. He was a prosecutor for SAFA, so they disregarded my request. There was a chairperson, their witness was Granny Kluyo, who we don't understand how he's still at SAFA when he's got a criminal case against him. And then they called in another witness who is Darren something, who runs the FMS system. So I was victimized from the moment, because the DC was not about the charges that had been laid against me. The DC ended up about being the fact that this information was shared on the WhatsApp group.
So final conclusion, they find you guilty after a
find
period
me
of
guilty,
time. So
yeah.
again, I want to look at a time frame here, because it's always important to try, because you accessed the system on the 27th of Jan.
Yes.
You were suspended on February 14.
Yes.
And you were charged with dishonesty, breach of confidentiality,
Yes.
information, what. And you were then fired on the 25th of April.
Instead of getting my salary.
So you did not get your salary?
I did not get my salary.
On what grounds?
I was fired at 7:08 p.m. There was no discussion about it. I should have received my salary in the morning like everyone else, but I didn't.
On the 25th?
On the 25th, 7:08 p.m. Then they sent me a letter of dismissal.
On what grounds? On the grounds that I've just stated now?
They are the dishonesty and unauthorization. They said I had been found guilty. I only received the chairperson's notes last week, maybe. But yeah, a lot of things have been very dubious. We don't understand what is happening and how things have actually gone on at SAFA. Hence, I'm going to the CCMA.
Have you spoken to the president of SAFA?
I've never spoken to the president of SAFA.
What do you mean never?
Never.
In the 11 years you've been at SAFA?
In the 11 years I've been at SAFA.
You're the media liaison officer at SAFA?
I'm not the head of department.
But you play an important part. Media is an important part.
Yes, but I'm not the head of the department. Nina Wantogo, Dominic Shimhavi, those are the people that would normally speak to him. It's never been me. I don't deal with political stuff at SAFA. I always deal with just the football matters.
Even frivolous conversation doesn't have to be anything to do with the meeting.
No.
I mean, you can be a receptionist and still, you have access to speaking to a president.
The most I've ever said to him in the 11 years is maybe, hello, Dr. Jordaan. These particular people are asking for an interview.
That's it.
That's it.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Mzansi, we've seen your Take-A-Lot cards and you've been shopping. Last year, you bought over 200,000 smartwatches, 9 million nappies, and you cleaned us out of dishwashing liquid. Was there a national gathering we missed? Clearly, when you love something, you really do. That's why Take-A-Lot is giving you up to 55% off the things you love. Shop the Thanks A Lot sale 23 May to 1 June. To know you is to spoil you, Mzansi.
Every year, Kruger Untamed's camps rise from the soil, wild, rooted in respect for nature and the local Shangaan culture. And then, they disappear again, with nothing left but memory. No permanent walls, no artificial noise, just a fleeting invitation to feel the Kruger wilderness as it truly is. Only open May to September. Come before the camps disappear again. Book at KrugerUntamed.com.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3,268. I love payday because my salary would look huge to 15-year-old me, but that's in 2011 money, not 2024 money. 28-year-old me is not so easily embraced.
Recently removed from the family payroll. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
You give your business everything. So why not give it better business banking? Give it Lula, South Africa's first business-only banking suite. We won't keep you on hold forever and a working day. And it won't take 5 transfers to get you answers. When you choose unlimited business banking, our dedicated relationship bankers are always ready to help. Visit lula.co.za and experience business class banking and funding today. Powered by Access Bank. T's and C's apply.
Get great value deals to celebrate mom with Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. Like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra 256 gig. Get yours today for only 1,129 Rand per month over 36 months on a 7.6 gig red core plan. Enhance your deal. Trade in and save up to 20,000 Rand. Add 79 Rand extra per month and get the Samsung Galaxy Watch 7 eSIM. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
What do you dream of in a bakkie? Plenty space! Something with a little je ne sais quoi. Something to conquer the great outdoors. Then stop dreaming. You could win one of 4 VW Amarok bakkies powered by Quartec Fuel with 4-in-1 technology. Or one of 4 Fuel for a Year prizes with Standard Bank UCount rewards. Get to your nearest Astron Energy and fuel up with 500 Rand or more of Quartec Fuel. Astron Energy. Welcome to South Africa's next biggest fuel brand. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
The former Orlando Pirates head coach is still a bit difficult to say former. He's at the airport. He's about to leave, but he said he can't leave without having to say goodbye to the shareholders of the show, Jose Rivero. It must be difficult just for you to get through the airport with everybody seeing you, maybe rushing to you, wanting to give you a last-minute hug.
With a lot of people wanting to meet me for the last time, for the second last time, love and gratitude that I'm taking with me to my next challenge.
Did you ever imagine that when Jose Rivero came to SA, that the time you leave, people will be hoping, wanting, and trying to drag you to stay on a little bit longer?
I can only have words of gratitude.
Albert Bash Mahlangu.
It's said that the coach will be leaving the team.
Wow. All right. Give him a moment. I think he's just about to describe why it's said that the coach is leaving the team.
This is something I hate to do.
#MSW. #MSW.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to Namhla. Namhla, why is it that people who want football to progress in this country are victimized or sidelined at SAFA offices? Because I'm a huge fan of your work. Saw you doing some incredible work when we were hosting the first inaugural interprovincial tournament where the first under-15 national team was selected, who today have progressed to be an under-17 team that qualified for the World Cup. And I just want to thank you for your contribution for that project because you were running around ensuring that the logistics are proper and the players are catered for, and the blazers that needed to be worn by the players were prepared nicely on that day. And I don't believe that we should lose somebody of your caliber in football. Something has to give. The minister must step in and assist on this matter. Thank you so much.
Deboka, thank you so much indeed. You're listening to that and it's moving you. You're getting emotional about it.
Oh, Deboka, you just touched my soul.
He's not lying though. This man follows football at whatever level.
Yeah, and that team has really progressed. You know, we lost out on a spot during COSAFA, but luckily we got into the AFCON. People say by the back door, but we're going to the World Cup, and it's been 10 years since then. My last World Cup with the under-17s was 10 years ago, and it's so great that this team is actually going again. We're sitting with a very talented squad, but I think their age group or how they've grown up don't understand the potential that they have, you know. So we need Coach Vela and Coach Thabo, Coach Shaib to make sure that they instill that in them to understand what it is to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about the World Cup. I was also trying to keep track with the Africa Cup of Nations under-20, the playoffs against Nigeria. South Africa were leading that game by 0-0, but I'll update you as soon as we do get a score update. Friend Hilton Smith joins us on the line. Friend, thanks so much for your time. Good evening.
Thank you, Robert. Evening, Namhla.
Good evening, friend.
Friend, I know that probably this is an issue you've spoken about at times when we've had interviews. You've read, you've seen, you're hearing now Namhla's presentation of her side of the story. What do you make of it, and is it fair?
Yeah, Robert, thanks. You know, I don't want to get another letter, so I'm choose my words, but Namhla has been a backbone of media at SAFA. She's played so many roles, from media to managing teams. It's just crazy, and it's women like Namhla that drive SAFA. And it's just so sad that once again women are being victimized. We need all these women's groups to come and support Namhla. She's a fantastic lady. I really appreciate everything she's done. I've worked closely with her, and she's the kind of person you want at SAFA. So good luck, Namhla. I hope you come out smiling and at the top of this. I wish you the very best.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Miss Fran. It's people like you that have made us fall in love with football.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, that's a solid appraisal coming through from somebody that we all respect. The conversation now post the disciplinary hearing, the dismissal, it's now a fight for justice. It's sitting at the CCMA. Have you had word? Is there a date that's been set aside?
The date is the 20th, which is next week, Tuesday. I've got many questions for SAFA, like how late they paid me for what's month? April. Yeah, I was only paid last week for that. And I don't know the package that I'm supposed to get from SAFA. I know I'm supposed to tap into my pension fund and other things, UIF and. But my salary over the years has also been an issue. So we'll see with the CCMA that happens on the 20th.
Explain that. Your salary has been an issue, meaning what?
I earn very below the bar.
What is that?
16,400 a month.
And you've been at the job for 11 years?
I've been at the job for 11 years. I run all the socials, Hollywood Bet Super League. I do every week. I do all junior national teams. I do Banyana Banyana. I assist at Bafana Bafana. And every other technical program that we've had, I've been part of it since the technical director came.
Do they do any appraisals? I mean, how then does your salary not get adjusted?
They say they adjust, but we've never really seen it in the bank, So yeah, we have that problem that when I came into SAFA in 2014, I was on a salary band of about 14,000. And since then, it's just gone up to 16,400.
In 2025?
In 2025. This is...
So what keeps you going, though? Because, I mean, I know your love for the game, and I've seen you, like Deboko was saying, on the sidelines, but also running. I've seen the communication coming through on the emails. It's not short of lack of productivity. You are there. So there must be a driving force. And obviously salary, although everybody wants to have a salary which kind of,
speaks to what they
kind
do.
of balances out in terms of the work that you do. But when you realize that you're not getting that type of salary, but you still keep going, you maintain your professionalism, you deliver on the goods on a regular basis, daily basis, weekly, monthly, yearly, then what is it that keeps you going?
It's the football, Rob. Not once in 11 years have I had a complaint about the quality of my work. My issues have always been political, about Dennis Mumble, about
You mentioned
Dennis,
and I'm going to come back to that because I thought, let me let it go the first time. What is it? What happened with Dennis Mumble?
I worked in his office. That's it.
So was it wrong for you to work in his office?
I guess, according to certain people, I guess it was. I worked in his office. I was a media liaising officer by title, but I sat in his office for a good 2-3 years.
And what was that relationship like?
He was just a CEO. He was just a CEO. When his PA was not present, I was there. But I was still the media officer for the Football Association.
But then how does the politics creep in when you are doing your job?
I don't know. And that's the issue I've had over the years, that I've been victimized for something that I don't know over the years. Something about me makes President Danny Jordaan very uncomfortable.
So he's the one who doesn't want you at
He
SAFA.
does not want me.
But based on what? On you don't talk to the man. He doesn't talk to you.
I don't talk to
So
him.
why
He
does he
doesn't
not
talk
want you?
to me. I don't know. I change my hair. It's a problem. I change my style. It's a problem. And these are messages I get from senior management.
So you're not allowed to change your hair.
I don't know, because I'm not doing it for any particular person. You know, for the past year now, I've been blonde. I don't know if it's an issue. There was a time I had red hair. Maybe it was an issue. There was a time we were at an event and I wore a particular outfit. It was an issue.
But it seems to me that maybe lines are being crossed here. You being judged on things that have got nothing to do with your work. You being judged
I've
and
never been
victimized
judged. I've never been judged on my work.
Which is the problem.
Yes.
Hence I say that you're being judged on the wrong things.
Yes.
If people are having issues with
Yes.
how you dress and the hair and so on, then it means other people are watching you for different reasons.
Yes.
Has that concerned you?
It's concerned me throughout my life in football, because how do I put this? I can't say I'm different, but I came into football at the age of 18 as my own individual self. I came into football for football and nothing else. You know, I've lived my life in my 20s, in my 30s now, being Namhla that I want to be. But my work has always stayed the same, and I've never had complaints about my work, and it's always off the pitch things.
Let's project. Let me say, and I'm trying to look at things favorably. CCMA rules in your favor. Do you go back to SAFA?
For a short time.
So all I'm trying to say is that, would you be willing to go back to an environment and a system that has obviously worked against you?
The system at some point has to change. Sometimes they say, why don't you leave SAFA? I say, why must I be the one to leave SAFA? Why doesn't SAFA change? You know, and this is a discussion I've had with people for many, many years. Why doesn't SAFA change? When will SAFA change? When will things be correct? Even in our interviews when we restructured in 2019, we were asked particular questions. And when does SAFA change? You know, when do we care about the football first? Mm-hmm. I had Neil Tovey as a technical director. He made me a team manager. I'm grateful to him. We had a new team. We had a new technical director who brought in many initiatives, and I worked very closely with him. But even he left. So when does SAFA change?
Let me quickly go to Buti, who's on the line, former NEC member. Buti, we're very limited on time. I just saw the name flash on the screen. I thought, let me just quickly squeeze you in. Your thoughts on all of this?
Hi, Rob. Hi, Namhla. I'm one of the people that kept saying to Namhla, walk away because you are too good for this nonsense. Look, SAFA as an organization victimizes not only women. Generally, workers who are trying to do the right thing because there is no structure. There's no structure, like she says. What the president wishes tends to happen, and that compromises everything that makes sense in an organization. I am not surprised that she is there. Her biggest weakness is her absolute love for development football. And I have always said to her, I think your talents can be appreciated and used somewhere else. It's heartbreaking, but not surprising. But this is a result, of course, when there is simply no systems that run an organization. All of those people, they can think they make decisions, all of them. But they know if the president says this is what I like or this is how I don't like the smell of your perfume or everything collapses. So I'm not surprised.
Thank you so much, but I'm sure we're going to be engaging in this at a time as well moving forward. If Danny Jordaan were to be standing in front of you right now and you needed to say something to him, what is it that you would say?
I've had so many images of this over the years.
I'm listening.
What is it about me that intimidates you so much? That is one of the first things I would want to say to him, you know, because it's been an uncomfortable relationship for 11 years. So what is it about me that intimidates you so much? What is it about me that you hate so much? Do I remind you of a kid that you rejected, or a kid you abandoned, you know? But yeah, there's too many questions. There's too many questions for that particular one. If he stood here beside me, it's like, why don't you want football to grow? Why do you think football belongs to you? I could go on and on and on and on.
So you believe there's an attempt at ownership, but maybe attempt might be the wrong word. You believe that there is ownership, seemingly, of football towards individuals.
Yes, yes. I mean, we've seen it. We've been to PE. We've seen his 2010 car with the number plate 2010 GP. Why does he feel like it belongs to him and him alone when football belongs to everybody? Football is for nobody, but for everybody.
Maybe let's end positively, Namhla. And I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to have you in studio. We're going to follow what's going to happen on Tuesday with the CCMA hearing. I can safely tell you that Amajita are through to the final of the Africa Cup of Nations tournament. They've just wrapped up their game against Nigeria. We say congrats to Coach Raymond Mdaka, the technical team, the players for reaching another final. Remember, they are through as well to the World Cup. So that's the positive news.
And again, another 8 years since we've been to the World Cup. I should have been in Egypt at the moment
as the
media liaising officer, but I'm not. I'm here with you in studio.
I think it's a positive that you've come forward. We feel the pain that you're going through.
Yeah.
Trust me, the time you've spent here and what you've shared is not going to be in vain. It's not going to be in vain. And I think you're going to be back at a job that you love so much. I am flat out of time. I've got to go. Namhla Mphelo, thank you so much. Former SAFA media officer joining us right here.
Thank you, Rob.
Hollywood Bets proudly brings you Marawa Sports Worldwide. We're back again tomorrow.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Let the game begin. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.